welcome back to Supreme Air Comfort. Today we're going to teach you guys, or show you guys, inform you guys and ladies that want to know about your AC. When you walk in the house, it's not cool anymore, and what's happening is you got warm air blowing out those vents. What happens is when your air handler is working and outside isn't coming on, so you'll go outside and you might hear a fan running, but if you touch that the big thick line, it's called a suction line, what happens is it's not getting cold, which means the compressor isn't running, or it probably don't have no freon in there. But we're going to go ahead and go with the facts that the compressor just isn't running. Or you can go outside and you can hear a humming sound, we go but what you don't see is the fan running. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to test the capacitor, and this capacitor just helps the unit. This helps the compressor start up. This helps the fan start up. So it's actually a starting capacitor. You have run caps and you have starting caps. This helps this compressor. It's a lot of voltage being run through it. It won't just come on with electricity unless it's a three-phase unit. So single phase and double pole, single, double pole, all of these are started with capacitors. What you're gonna do is, first and foremost, cut the power off to the unit. Big old power box outside, you will get a chance to see that too. Cut the power off to the unit. Make sure you cut the power off. Open that big old box in there, or if it's a switch on it, push down. If it's a box, open the box and pull the disconnect out. You do that first. That's first. Then after, what you do is, it's a cabinet on the side of the condensing unit, and you can either open it. It'll be either quarter nut. This is like a 6-in-1, a 4-in-1, some shit. And here's the 5/16 side. This is the quarter nut side. Doesn't matter what size it is. You just need to find the right side. Once you open that cabinet up, after you cut the power off, you're gonna come in there and you're gonna look at the cap, and you don't see it outside running. This is after you found out that the inside is running. You always start with the inside first. You can cut the thermostat on. Your inside is running, but your outside isn't running. Like I said, you heard that hum, that big old hum sound, and you seen your fan moving, and you didn't see your fan moving, or you didn't hear a hum sound and your fan isn't moving either. So, like I said, once you cut that power off, open the cabinet with the 5/16 or quarter nut driver. You go in there, you're gonna see wires connected from the compressor on here, from the contactor on top here. So this is a big old battery. This is a big old battery. It stores a lot of energy in here. What you want to do is you want to discharge it first. I know you don't think that nothing's going on here. The field of electricity is strong, like Star Wars. That's why them Jedis can do what they doing, because they understand the field of electricity. All right, what you want to do here is discharge it. I don't care how you discharge. Make sure you have an insulated tool. I don't care if you use an insulated set of pliers. Make sure you use an insulated tool. Discharge it, just like so. You see that? De-energize it. So now it's able to be touched. You see that? Nothing happened here. You don't want to be the guy or the girl that touches this and you blow because you didn't discharge it. De-energize the cap. Now that we've done with de-energizing the cap, you want to disconnect those wires on there. You don't want any back bleed. Back bleed is when you have something wired into the system and you're trying to test it, and what you're doing, you end up testing the rest of the system instead of this. You want to disconnect those wires, discharge the capacitor, and then you want to come on here and you want to grab your multimeter. You make sure you get your multimeter with the capacitance reading. You see that sign right there? Do not think that you're going to read a capacitor by sending it to ohms. You're going to blow the meter. It has to be reading microfarads. That signs right there, that T with that sign right there. Look close at it. Let's see if we can get on there. It's on there. Don't be stupid. Get the multimeter. That's good. Tools already pay for themselves, and if you're trying to save yourself some money, having the most, not the most expensive tool, but the best tools, some great tools, some good tools could really help you out. Now, what happens here is you'll go from, and on every capacitor, it is the same. Don't think nothing changes on any capacitor. On the star capacitor, you have common. That's common. The C stands for common. That's Herm. That Herm goes to the compressor. I'm not telling you how to wire anything up because that's not your job. No time soon. All right. And then you have the fan terminal on there. So it's a fan right there. You see it? Fan. You see Herm over there. Hermetic. For hermetically sealed compressor. This compressor is sealed. And then you have your common right here. Like I said, guys, don't be the guy that ends up not discharging it and blown to pieces. All right, so first and foremost, the first terminal you want to touch is common. If you want to test, you want to read what size capacitor you have first. Let's read today what size cap we have. It's a 35.5. See that? 35.5 UF. It means microfarad. And then it said plus or minus 5%. So it has to be within that 35 for the compressor, and then the 5 for the fan. For 440 applications, 370 volts. All right, you can use it for 242. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to common. Like I said, you put the terminal on common, and then you put the other terminal on, both of them on one on common, and then one on that's hermetic, because the fan is over there empty. What you want to do is, it's a 35.5 microfarad. You need to be reading 35, 34, 36 plus or minus 5%. You do the math. 35 times 0.05, and then you do the math. You know how to add plus or minus 5%. Now, also, so our hermetic side is good. That's a good hermetic side. Then you want to test your fan. Your fan should be reading 5 or 4. See that 4.9? That's within that 5%. This is a good capacitor. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to show you a bad capacitor. Regardless if you think it's a good capacitor or a bad capacitor, you still need to discharge it so you don't get blown to pieces. Now, again, you're going to go to common. You find out where the C is. The C is over here for me. And hermetic is right here. Just basically testing the compressor. Now, when you're going down here, it says 9.44. Like I said, you want to check and see what it is. What the ratings are. So 45 microfarad. Not a 45, but a 40/5. This is a plus or minus 6%. Sit it down. Put it on common. And you put it on, and you make sure these pits are not rusty. Now, boom. Now, like I said, what you want to be reading is that 40. This one right here is reading 9. So, apparently, the compressor isn't not going to be running. Then, what you want to do is test the fan side. Common fan side. Like I said, you just want to check them pits right there. This one's kind of dirty. You want to just try to take your meter and just do that real quick. And test it. And what it should be reading is, it should be reading 40/5. This is not even reading close to 5. The first part was reading 9, and this is not. So this is already a bad capacitor. So if you walk outside and your fan and your compressor outside, the whole outside unit is running, and you're sure you have power, this is a bad capacitor. You need to change this capacitor out. Again, you might want to have a good meter to be able to tell this is a bad capacitor. Again, discharge the capacitor first. If you don't, you will be blowed. You say bye to your hand. All right. So now you got a bad capacitor. You take this capacitor and you put the good capacitor in. See, bad capacitor. Now we have telltale signs about what a good capacitor is most time. Sometimes you can't tell. See that little bubble right there? That little bubble right there basically is already saying that this is a bad, not necessarily, because that bubble could be right there and it could be a good capacitor. But there's times where you see it busted. It's a lightning situation. The whole side will be busted. You see the oils that's in here come out. You see that little bloat, that little bubble right there. It's not a dead sign telling you it's bad, but you know it's a kind of, if something's not working and you kind of look at that, you can almost guarantee that it's bad. Also, it would be a bubble right here. You see how flat it is right here, like a woman with a flat backside. Yeah, that's the one that's working. The one that's bubbled up all right here, you know, the big booty girl that got the semen in her booty. Yeah, it's not a real working. It's not working. All right, that's definitely telltale sign. You want to check that out for this one right here. All right, and guys, I hope you learned something here today. All right, and once you get done changing that old capacitor out, you put the power back in. Like I said in the beginning, take the power out. You put the power back in. Make sure you wired everything. If you took wires off the capacitor, make sure you took a picture to remember exactly where those terminals went back on. They're different colors, different applications. Every color in every application not gonna be the same. Make sure you took a picture and you labeled the wires with like a little tape. Like, this is common, it's fan, hermetic. Make sure you put it back exactly where it goes. If you don't, you will blow something up. All right, and you make sure you know what you're doing. Read the wiring diagram, schematics. Put the power back in. Boom, your fan just came back on. Your compressor just came back on. You walk back in the house. It ain't cooling yet. Give it 30 minutes to an hour, and your house is back to cooling. You're like, oh my God, Supreme Air Comfort just saved me like $250, because you know these things cost about $4, $4 to $10. Supreme Air Comfort just saved me a whole bunch of money. You have any questions, do comment, or you can email me at supremeaircomfort@gmail.com. I will start checking those. Go ahead and subscribe and like this video. All right, see you guys later. Learn something. All right, bye.